Hi and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Liz and this is A Catholic Mother's Journey. I'm really pleased you're joining me today. So today I felt like the Lord wanted me to speak on here about persevering in trials and how when we do this, God has something good for us on the other side of that trial, and how we are supposed to even rejoice in our trials and find joy in our trials. So this is to encourage any of you watching today who are going through trials at the moment. You're going through hardship, you're going through suffering. This is an encouragement for you. So recently I found myself talking to God and saying, Lord, why are you letting this thing happen to me now? Why is this thing happening now? Why am I going through this hardship? What's in it? What's the purpose? I don't get it. Take it away, that kind of prayer. I don't know if you've been there yourselves, but I really felt the Lord reminding me that he had something in this trial for me, that he was in it, that he was working in it, and that there was something on the other side of the trial, and that I was to be joyful in my trial, because in our trials God is working. And when I actually became joyful and praised God, it helped me bear the trial better. So scriptures on finding joy in trials. There's a couple of well-known scriptures I'm just going to refer to. There's one in the book of James, chapter 1, where he talks about counting it all joy when you face trials of many kinds. And St. Paul in Romans 5, he says, we rejoice in our sufferings because we know that suffering produces perseverance. And perseverance produces character, and character, hope. So in those trials, the Lord is working on us. He's working on our character. As we persevere, we become more developed spiritually and have our character tested, and that produces hope. So our faith is being built through these trials. So none of them are ever wasted. None of them are futile. None of them are a waste of time. It might feel like that, and I felt like that myself many a time during difficult times and challenges, but God uses all of it, and he especially uses it to form us spiritually. Now, an example in the Bible of how God uses trials to form people's characters can be found with King David. So he was a shepherd boy, wasn't he? And he defeated and killed any lion or any bear that came near his sheep. Now, having done that, succeeded in those trials, he then went on to defeat Goliath, didn't he? By God's power working through him. Now, because he had those smaller trials under his belt, he was then built up and tested and equipped in his character to persevere and defeat Goliath. His character had been grown and tested so that he was in a position to be faithful, that God would allow him to have the victory over Goliath. Despite the circumstances before him, he knew that he would win. The same thing happens with us. God trains us through the trials we face. He allows maybe smaller trials to happen. And when we get the victory through those, through perseverance, through keeping our faith, then after that, our character is tested. We've grown in confidence and in faith and in patience. And after that, we're able to persevere and find the victory in bigger trials. We're then able to face bigger trials because our character is more developed. And then God can use us more once we've reached this point. I'm going to just give you an analogy. So those of you who are parents and watching this, you might recall when your first child was born, it might have been a bit of a shock to the system. You might have been like, well, am I ever going to sleep again? This baby isn't sleeping. But then in time, over time, the baby settles down, you get a routine, you get more sleep, and things sort of settle back to, I suppose, a new normality. Then when your second baby comes along, you're like, well, I've been here before. Yes, it's difficult at the beginning, but things will settle down. We'll get into a routine. You know from your experience, because you've been through it before, that It might still be a challenge, and in fact, it depends on the child, doesn't it? Some are easier than others. But because you have that experience under your belt already, you're more confident at what you're doing and that you know things will settle down and get easier eventually. So it's a bit like that. We've been through things before. We've been through trials before. We feel like they pushed us really to our limits. But then when we go through them again, we're better placed, we're better equipped to deal with them because we've seen it before. We've already been tested, and we develop a perseverance in us, knowing that there will be victory. It's just a matter of time. It will be a challenge, but in time, there will be victory. So although the second experience may not be easier, in fact, it could be harder, it's subjectively easier because we've already been trained to deal with it. We've developed perseverance in our characters, and we've already seen that there is another side to the trial, that there is something else on the other side of the trial. So the same goes for us spiritually. God uses our trials to train us up and form us and mould us so that we eventually become unshakable in the face of bigger trials. And when we get to that point, he can use us more greatly for bigger things, for assignments that he has for us. Because when we step forward and we carry out God's will, we will face persecution. That is par for the course. So we need to be equipped so that we can face that persecution and keep going, and that we won't fall and give up. So we need to remember that in the midst of our trials, God is using it for something good. He is using all of it. He is shaping us. He is moulding us. He has something beautiful for us on the other side. He has spiritual growth. He has an elevation. He might have a specific assignment. He might have open doors, whatever it is, there is something beautiful waiting for us on the other side. It's not just a futile waste of time ordeal, that trial that you're going through. How many times, how easy is it for us to think that? I've thought that myself before. This is just a waste of time. I feel like I'm stuck in this difficult time in my life. I'm not moving anywhere. I'm not moving forwards. I'm just stagnating. What's going on? I thought things would be moving by now. I thought I'd be doing more exciting, interesting things. I'm just stuck here. How many times is it easy to think that? How many times do we do that? But God is using all of it. And there is something beautiful on the other side. We just need to hold on to that. And we need to find this joy in those trials because it will make it more bearable. We need to rejoice in what the Lord is doing. He is using it. He is moving. He is in that trial and doing amazing things. Just because we can't see them yet doesn't mean he isn't moving. He is moving. He's with you. He sees what's going on. Often you're exactly in the right place. You might think, I've missed it. I'm not in God's will. I've done the wrong thing. I've made the wrong choice. But you are, in fact, in the right place. God has you exactly where he wants you to be. You've just got to keep going. And by keep going, I mean just keep praying, keep moving forward, keep obeying what you think the Lord is speaking to you, and keeping your faith in him despite the trial. We have to remember that we know God is good. Yes, the trial in front of us looks bad, but God is good, and we have to hold on to that by our faith. We know he is good, and therefore he is leading us to somewhere good. Even if it doesn't look like that at all, we have to walk by faith and not by sight. Looking back at my own life, I can see times when I've been going through hard times in my life, and I didn't know what was going on. I definitely had times when I was losing hope. But looking back, I can now see what God was doing during those times. So just to give you an example, a while ago, I really felt the Lord saying to me, I'm going to teach you how to pray. I'm going to teach you how to pray. And I felt this particularly in relation to my son, George, who is profoundly disabled. He can't walk or talk, and I'm his carer. If you've not seen my testimony already, I'll link to that on this video. And I really felt like the Lord was saying, I'm going to teach you how to pray for George. And by these words, what I thought the Lord was saying to me was, I'm going to teach you, maybe a special kind of new prayer that's going to be really effective, maybe a special formula that's going to be really effective and get you exactly what you want, get you healing, get you, whatever it is you're praying for. That's what I thought, that the Lord is going to teach me a new kind of prayer. But what happened during the season that followed was many trials. It was a very, very difficult period in my life. I was in hospital a lot with George. It was just really difficult, really lots of prayer. I was praying a lot. I was in a place where I was almost praying desperately. Things just looked really bad. Praying in the night, anxiety, worry, just difficult circumstances. And I was like, nothing is going on here. Things just seem to be getting worse. The circumstances around me are just getting worse. George is in hospital all the time. I'm worried about him all the time because he has complex medical issues. And nothing seemed to be changing. And I was like, I'm not really being taught how to pray, Lord. When are you going to do this thing that you promised? And then that period of time changed. Things shifted a bit. And then I realised, looking back, that it wasn't some magic formula the Lord was going to teach me on how to pray. I already had prayers at my disposal. I already knew how to pray, how to say the words. But what he was teaching me was to persevere in prayer. He allowed many trials to happen during that season, and they taught me perseverance in prayer. I learned how to keep going in prayer, even when the circumstances looked terrible. And that's what the Lord was teaching me. He was stretching my faith. He was increasing my faith in prayer. And he was also teaching me about surrendering my prayer intentions to him, so that even if our prayers don't seem to be answered in the way we want them to be answered, the Lord is still responding to our prayers. He's listening to us, and he's giving us the best thing that he has for us, even if it's not what we ideally wanted originally. And so learning how to surrender that to the Lord's will. So he was teaching me all those things, and I did not see that at all at the time. I did not see it. Only later on, when the season switched, if you like, could I look back and think, that's what the Lord was teaching me in prayer. That's what he meant. And it clicked with me at that point. At the time, it just felt like trial after trial after trial. And I was just like, nothing's going on. I feel stuck. Nothing's happening. I feel like I'm not achieving anything in life. I feel like I'm surviving by the skin of my teeth. But then I saw later on what the Lord had been doing all that time. So how often does that happen to us? You may be watching this video and you can relate to that experience. It happens a lot, doesn't it, in the Christian life? You feel like you're not moving forward. You feel like you're not getting anywhere. You feel like other people are getting places, but you're not moving. You're just stuck in this trial that seems to be going on forever. But in those times, we are to rejoice. We are to have joy in the trial because God is in it and he's doing amazing things through it. And there will be an end to the trial. It's not going to last forever. And usually the answer is not a magic formula, which is what I was hoping for in that season. No magic formula, but we are just to keep going. As I said before, as long as we keep going, keep the faith, keep your trust in God, and keep praying. Keep getting up in the morning, keep giving your day to the Lord every day, and praising him and saying, Lord, I know you're in this trial and I praise you anyway, even though the circumstances look awful, even though I feel like I can't face the day. I just praise you and activate my joy in you, despite what's going on in front of me. You may have heard these well-known words of St. Catherine of Siena: nothing great is ever achieved without enduring much. We have to endure those trials, and then God can use us for great things. That's just how it is. It's not an easy life, the Christian life, but when we endure those trials, God can then use us for great things. He wants to get us to that point of being ready and unshakable. So I really hope that encourages you to keep going in your trial. God has a blessing for you on the other side of it. God has something good for you on the other side of it. Nothing is wasted. We just need to persevere, and through perseverance we develop our characters, we develop patience, we develop confidence, and we become closer to God. We have a greater union with God, which is the best outcome, isn't it? So I really hope that's encouraged you today, especially if you're going through a difficult season yourself at the moment. So I do hope that video has blessed and encouraged you today. Please do take a moment to like and share the video with anyone who comes to mind when you're watching it, who you think might like to see it. Thank you so much for watching today. I pray that you have a really blessed day, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. So until then, God bless. Bye.